The untold story of Nubia's ancient civilization. A civilization long overlooked. Nubia, nestled along the Nile River's southern stretch, represents an ancient civilization steeped in rich culture and profound history. Despite its close proximity to Egypt, a civilization that has garnered immense scholarly focus, the narrative of Nubia remains largely untold in the broader discourse of ancient histories. The story of Nubia unfolds across a series of significant epochs, each contributing to a legacy marked by resilience and an extraordinary capacity for cultural, economic, and political innovation. Recognized as one of Africa's earliest urban centers, evidence of Nubian civilization spans from the formation of powerful city-states through to its sophisticated political structures and economic strategies. The rise of a kingdom amidst giants. Traditionally, Nubia is divided into two regions, Upper Nubia and Lower Nubia, sometimes referred to as Kush and Wawat, respectively. These regions developed concurrently with ancient Egypt, their histories often intertwined through trade, warfare, and cultural exchange. Archaeological findings indicate that some of the earliest organized societies in Nubia emerged around 3500 BCE, during a period when Egypt was developing its own regional powers. Nubia's geographic positioning on the Nile made it a key player in the trade routes that cut across Africa and into the Middle East, integrating Nubian society within a vast network of exchange. The cultural and economic backbone. Nubian society was distinguished by remarkable social and cultural achievements. The art and architecture manifest in the remnants of the Kerma culture, such as their unique red brick Tefufa temples, illustrate a devotion to both innovation and tradition. Additionally, Nubia's people were skilled metallurgists, credited with mastering iron smelting and gold extraction, techniques that enabled them to produce exquisite jewelry and tools. These capabilities not only bolstered their economy but also rendered Nubia a locus of cultural diffusion, as their goods were highly sought after. The interplay with Egypt. Nubia's power dynamics with Egypt constitute a significant aspect of its untold story. Over centuries, the relationship between Nubia and Egypt oscillated from competition to cooperation and back. Egyptian pharaohs coveted Nubia for its resources and strategic location, while Nubian rulers, at times, were formidable enough to conquer and rule Egypt. During the 25th dynasty, known as the Kushite period or the Black Pharaohs era, Nubian kings ruled over Egypt, leaving behind a legacy of restoration and stabilization of Egyptian traditions and religious practices. The legacy and modern recognition. In modern times, the study of Nubia, or Nubiology, has provided profound insights into the complexity and richness of this civilization. Despite many of its artifacts and sites still being uncovered, what remains clear is that Nubia's contributions to ancient history are as significant as those of its neighbors. The ongoing archaeological work continues to challenge historical narratives, highlighting the sophisticated nature of Nubian society in areas such as governance, architecture, and art. Recognizing the depth of Nubia's history provides a more holistic understanding of the ancient world and emphasizes the significance of African civilizations in shaping global history. The origins of Nubia. Nubia, situated in the northeastern region of Africa, has its roots tracing back to ancient times. The origin of the name Nubia is subject to various interpretations and debates. Some scholars believe it derives from the Egyptian word nwb, meaning gold, indicating Nubia's historical reputation as a rich source of gold. Others suggest that its name is linked to the Nubides, a group of people who migrated to northern Nubia during the 4th century AD. Historically, Nubia was also known as Kush, highlighting its distinctive identity over nearly 2 millennia. The geographic and environmental influences. The Nubian civilization was predominantly located along the Nile River valley, extending from southern Egypt into northern Sudan. The Nile, serving as a natural artery, facilitated agriculture, trade, and communication for the ancient Nubians. The environmental conditions and the rich resources available, particularly gold, contributed to Nubia's prosperity and its crucial role in ancient trade networks. The Nile's predictable flooding provided fertile lands for agriculture, while its waters were vital for transportation and trade, deeply influencing the development and sustenance of Nubian civilization. Cultural and political interactions. Throughout its history, Nubia maintained complex and dynamic relations with neighboring civilizations, especially with Egypt. Nubia and Egypt shared profound cultural exchanges and interacted politically and economically. During various periods, Nubia was either an ally or a rival to Egypt, influencing or being influenced by Egyptian culture and politics. Nubian rulers once controlled Egypt during the 25th dynasty, known as the Kushite dynasty, which saw the unification of the Nile Valley under Nubian rulers. This dynastic rule contributed significantly to the cultural and artistic exchange between the two regions, blending Egyptian and Nubian traditions and beliefs. The Kingdom of Kush. The Kingdom of Kush emerged as one of the most notable periods in Nubian history, flourishing from around 2600 BCE. It was a hub of culture, power, and wealth, known for its advanced trade networks and military prowess. The Kushite kings were renowned for their military campaigns and their efforts to establish a political and religious identity distinct from Egypt. The kingdom was characterized by significant architectural achievements, including the construction of pyramids, which were smaller but more numerous than their Egyptian counterparts. These pyramids served as royal tombs, demonstrating the kingdom's advanced engineering skills and cultural practices. Advancements in trade and metallurgy. Ancient Nubia was a pivotal player in regional trade, leveraging its abundant resources, particularly gold. The kingdom's strategic location allowed it to control trade routes between sub-Saharan Africa and the Mediterranean world, facilitating the exchange of goods such as ivory, ebony, and incense. Nubia was also known for its advancements in metallurgy, particularly ironworking. Nubian artisans mastered metalworking techniques that significantly influenced both their own society and neighboring cultures. These metallurgical skills enabled Nubia to produce weapons and tools, bolstering its economy and military strength. Religious beliefs and practices. Religion played a central role in Nubian society, mirroring some Egyptian elements while retaining unique aspects of its own. The Nubians worshipped a pantheon of deities, with the moon being one of the central gods. The religious practices often involved elaborate rituals and offerings, which were integral to the social and political fabric of the kingdom. The Nubian adaptation of Egyptian religious customs is evident in the temples and monuments they built, which were similar in style to those in Egypt but also displayed local adaptations and influences, highlighting the cultural interchange between the two civilizations. Artistic and architectural achievements. Art and architecture flourished in Nubian civilization, with distinct styles that reflected their cultural heritage and interactions with Egypt. The construction of pyramids, temples, and other edifices demonstrated their architectural prowess. Nubian art often depicted religious themes and was characterized by its vibrant and expressive style. Artistic endeavors included pottery, jewelry, and sculpture, showcasing the Nubians' skills and the richness of their cultural tapestry. The influence of Egyptian art is discernible, yet Nubian artists also infused their own motifs and styles, creating a unique amalgamation of artistic expression. Decline and legacy. The decline of the Nubian civilization was gradual, influenced by internal conflicts, changing trade routes, and foreign invasions. Despite this decline, the legacy of Nubia's ancient civilization endures through its contributions to culture, art, and history. The remnants of Nubian architecture and artifacts continue to be a subject of study and fascination. Nubia's historical interactions with Egypt and its achievements in various fields contribute significantly to understanding the ancient world's complexity and cross-cultural interactions, providing insights into a civilization that has deeply influenced African and global history. Modern interpretations and discoveries. In modern times, the study of Nubia has gained attention due to archaeological discoveries and growing interest in Africa's historical narratives. New findings continue to reshape the understanding of Nubia's role in ancient history, highlighting its significance as a center of civilization and culture. As more research is conducted, the narrative of Nubia's ancient civilization becomes more enriched, revealing the complexities and contributions of this once flourishing society. The renewed interest in Nubia not only acknowledges its historical significance but also celebrates its legacy, continuing to inspire and inform contemporary perspectives on African heritage and history. Nubia's cultural and societal structure. The ancient civilization of Nubia was primarily centered in what is now southern Egypt and northern Sudan. This region, known for its strategic position along the Nile, served as a nexus for cultural and commercial exchange. The society of Nubia, particularly during the kingdom of Kush, was marked by a highly organized and hierarchical structure. At the apex was a ruling class that included kings and religious leaders. These leaders wielded significant control over religious and political matters, often asserting their authority through divine claims. The Nubian kings, known as pharaohs, maintained connections with the Egyptian pharaohs, with some Nubian pharaohs even ruling over Egypt during the 25th dynasty, known as the Kushite dynasty. This interconnection facilitated the exchange of cultural and religious ideas, further enriching Nubian culture. Family and social organization. Nubia's social organization was predominantly clan-based, with lineage and kinship playing essential roles in determining an individual's status and occupation. Clans were part of larger tribal federations, and each tribe had its leader, who was often selected based on familial connections and merit. The family unit was central to Nubian society, revolving around agriculture and cattle herding. Women had a significant role in both the domestic sphere and the broader economy. They engaged in agriculture, weaving, and pottery, and often had rights and privileges akin to those of men. Succession within royal lines sometimes favored matrilineal inheritance, emphasizing the influence and importance of women in Nubian society. Religion and worship practices. Religion was deeply interwoven within the cultural fabric of Nubia, and it heavily influenced its societal structures. Nubians worshipped a pantheon of gods, many of whom were adapted from Egyptian deities. The god Amun was particularly significant, and the Nubian religious center at Napata became a vital area for worship. The devotion towards their gods was evident in the construction of temples and pyramid complexes. The pyramids of Meroe, which blend Egyptian architectural styles with distinct Nubian innovations, reflect their religious ideologies and emphasize the importance placed on the afterlife. Priests held a crucial role in society, often working alongside rulers to govern religious ceremonies that reinforced the sacred authority of the monarchy. The unique synthesis of Nubian and Egyptian religious elements illustrates the dynamic nature of Nubian spirituality. Trade routes and exchange systems. Nubia's location made it a central hub for trade between sub-Saharan Africa and the Mediterranean world. The civilization utilized extensive overland and riverine trade routes to exchange goods with neighboring territories. The trans-Saharan caravan routes linked Nubia with regions as far as West Africa, exchanging not only goods but also cultural and technological innovations. These routes were not mere paths for the exchange of commodities but were cultural corridors that facilitated the spread of ideas, religion, and technology. Furthermore, the Nile River served as a crucial trade artery, allowing Nubia to transport goods efficiently. This strategic use of water and land routes exemplified Nubia's ability to adapt and thrive in its geographic niche, ensuring economic prosperity and stability over centuries. Commodities and trade goods. Nubia was rich in natural resources, including gold, ivory, ebony, incense, iron, and copper, which were highly sought after by neighboring civilizations, particularly Egypt. Gold from Nubia was so abundant that the region was known as the land of the bow by Egyptians due to its skilled archers and its metallurgical wealth. This abundance of resources allowed Nubia to become a supplier of luxury goods that were integral to ancient trade networks. Furthermore, Commodities such as ivory and ebony were not only valuable in trade but also in craft and artistic expressions within Nubia and abroad. The craft and metalwork of Nubian artisans were well regarded, producing exquisite jewelry and utensils that symbolized status and wealth. These commodities helped Nubia establish itself as a powerful entity within the regional trade networks, capable of influencing and being influenced by diverse cultures and economies. Decline and transformation of economic systems. The decline of Nubia's economic systems was gradual and multifaceted, influenced by external pressures and internal transformations. The encroachment of the Roman Empire and later the Islamic conquests reshaped the political and economic landscape of the region. The shift in trade routes, diminished political sovereignty, and resource depletion contributed to the waning of Nubian economic power. However, even as the centralized power of Nubian kingdoms diminished, local economies adapted by focusing more on subsistence agriculture and regional trade networks. The decline did not represent an end but rather a transformation, where Nubia continued to influence the cultural and economic dynamics of Northeast Africa through smaller, yet resilient, communities that preserved Nubian legacy and traditions. Such resilience underscores the enduring nature of Nubian identity and its ability to sustain itself through shifting economic and political paradigms. In conclusion, lessons and implications for future research. This investigation into ancient Nubia's civilization emphasizes the need for revisiting historical narratives that have long minimized or overlooked African civilizations. Understanding Nubia not only enriches our knowledge of world history but also challenges pre-existing notions about the capabilities and contributions of African societies in the ancient world. Efforts to document and disseminate knowledge about Nubia can inspire further scholarly inquiry that fosters a more inclusive view of global history. The study calls for ongoing archaeological and historical research to uncover further insights into Nubia's civilization, thereby ensuring that the untold stories of Nubia are brought into the foreground of historical discourse.